All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to do a little brief video about some of the concepts that are in chapter one of our JavaScript book. Before we get started, I do want to point out some of you guys who have already done your homework one. Thank you very much. I have opened up the box again, or the assignment folder again, um, just in case, because I have to have in order for me to grade your assignments, I have to have them in zip files. So even if it's just one file, it has to be zipped in order for me to download it and for me to actually grade it. All right, so make sure you make sure you zip it before you upload it to the assignment folder. All right, I also want to make it everybody or did everybody know that for your weekly attendance, you have two parts. You have two assignments you do for your weekly attendance. You have your homework. Your homework is actually graded, so for each week or for each chapter we have homework that is graded. Okay, and that counts as part of your attendance. Now you also have a chapter quiz for each chapter. Those are not graded, but you still have to do them because it's the second part or the part of your attendance for the week. Okay, so make sure you do those. Let's see what else we got. All right. So the first thing, let's go ahead and get started with chapter one stuff. Um, I like to use uh, Virtual Studio for my stuff. To do when I do my programming stuff, because I'm lazy and I like the fact it actually gives you hints, keyword hints or command hints. So I like to do that. So that's why I like to use it. However, you can use any type that you want. It could be either uh, H, uh, Notepad plus, Notepad, whatever you want to use, you can use it. So you can do your work. But I like using Visual Studio. And if you want to use Visual Studio, you can download it using your Microsoft Imagine account. You can get, and like I said, you can get it for free because you are a student. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is JavaScript is a object-based language. In your book, however, it also uses what they call dot notation. And dot notation allows you, and you probably seen it when you're going throughout the chapter. It talks about it has document dot write or document dot whatever. That's because it's using the object comes first, and then you apply whatever action or function or whatever um, method that you want to use for that particular object. That's what you'll do. And all of this is based on what they call the DOM, or the document output model. I will, yeah, I'm going to actually pull over. Your book talks about the DOM model in chapter 5, and I'm going to bring that over so you can see the diagram. So, in using the DOM method, you you have to think of the browser as a big object. All right, so you have the window, that's an object. Then you have the actual website itself or web page itself inside of the browser that is also considered an object. And you inside of the document, that object, you have different elements that are also objects. You can apply those different other things or different methods to those particular objects. So to dig down just a little bit further, yeah, sticking is still page or chapter 5 in your book. So it actually takes it down just a little bit different. So I said here you have your document object. Then inside your document object, you have all of your HTML and all of your HTML methods, not methods, but elements that allows you to actually do what you need to do. So they really should have talked about this before, someplace in chapter 1, before they start talking about the dot notation. But first you need to have an idea of where's all those dots and documented and stuff, dot rates and all that stuff is coming from before you can actually find out, actually start using them. Alright, so I am going to, so in JavaScript, you can code your, code your JavaScript two different ways. They have what they call embedded JavaScript, which is actually directly inside of your HTML document. And that's what I want to use, and I want you guys to use that for the first couple of weeks, because it just makes it easier to grade, and also gives you a better way of actually troubleshooting your JavaScript. So for the first couple of weeks, I want you guys to use the embedded JavaScript. But just like we had for CSS, you can also have external JavaScript, which is in a separate file by itself. It can link that file to the HTML file, and you can bring them all together. So you have embedded JavaScript, and you also have external JavaScript. So the one thing I wanted to talk about is that writing stuff to the page. You also, in your book, it talks about writing stuff to the page. It talks about using variables. And I'll talk more about variables when we get there in a little bit. It also talks about some of the events that you can use, that you can actually have in objects in JavaScript trigger, like on click and on load and all that good stuff. But all this stuff that we're going to do in chapter 1, we're going to do without using functions. You can use a lot of stuff you can do using functions, but because in chapter 1 we haven't talked about functions yet, I want to just stick with not doing functions for chapter 1. All right, so I'm also looking in this book as we go along, so I can make sure I cover some of the stuff that your book talked about. So whenever you're doing your internal or embedded JavaScript, you always have to start with the script tags. You can put the script tags any place you want. I personally like to have them in my header, in my head, between my head tag, because that's what I'm used to do. That's how I'm used to doing it. But you can actually put these any place you want inside the document. It doesn't matter. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is actually writing information to the actual document itself, or to the page itself. If you ever want to write something to the page, you can always use document dot, and since I want to write something to it, to document dot write. This right here is the same thing for those of you who have taken Java. This is the exact same thing as like system write or system read or whatever things called, system out, something something. This is the exact same thing. Ooh. And so I have my document object dot write, and my write object is my method. And so I can put, and in between the parentheses, I can put anything I want a method to do. So since I'm going to write something, I want it to write out to the page. Because we're dealing with strings, or we're dealing with text, it has to be in quotation marks. So I am going to go with a favorite, hello world. It can't be hello world, right? So do hello world. So notice I didn't declare a variable. You don't have to declare a variable. As long as you can tell it to just write, and it'll write directly to the page. So you notice I don't even have anything in my body tag. All this is coming directly from my script tag in the head section. So if I were to save this, and also that, every time you do a statement, it has to end, or it has to be terminated with a semicolon. This should be very useful, right? Should be very familiar. Alright, so I'm going to save this file here, and I'm going to bring it up into my web browser. I don't need you right now. There you go. Alright, so I don't need you anymore. Go ahead and open. And let me find my stuff really quickly. I have no idea where I put it. Find it. I think it's on the Picture Studio, I believe. Where's my video? There it is. Video Studio, Projects, IST. Right. Okay, there you go. And there it is. It's Hello World. So it pops up right there for me. Now, in your book, it showed you that you can use HTML tags along with your document, right? And those are just for formatting reasons. So if I were to go back to my code here, and I were to put let's put a bold tag, put a strong tag, so you can actually see. So inside of my quotation marks, I can put in my HTML tags. So I have an opening tag, and I have my closing tag, and it will format. And this right here will format my statement that I have my document right that I'm trying to call out. So let me save this, and if I do my refresh, there it is. It's nice and bold. You can also do this. You can do this with just about anything. So if I were to do order list, I can do an order list as well. And I think your book actually shows you how to do it too. So in one document right, I have the opening tag. Maybe I have to put in quotation marks. Close that out. I'll go ahead and copy this. And I'll have my li tag inside these quotation marks, and I can put in hello world and close it out. I'll probably put maybe like 2 of these or something, who knows. Hello, goodbye world. And last one, and I'll say, actually I just go ahead and end it, yeah. I'll go ahead and end it. And I have my ending tag. So now, so for me to do my each element of my unordered list has to be in a document right, so it can actually pick up, because each element on each HTML tag or element has to have its own document right. So if I were to save this, I should now have there you go. I have my unordered list, and I just use it. And I did have to, and I did all my HTML in using JavaScript. So you can do it that way as well. In JavaScript, you do not have data types, or as many data types as you have in Java. But yay! So this, like I said, this is right here. It's not Java. Well, I take that back. It is a distant relative of Java. You know, it's Java's little sister. Let's put it that way. Immature little sister. All right. So all you have to do to declare a variable is use the var or var. And there you go. You have your variable. All right. JavaScript interprets the variable based on what it is based on what you put the variable as. So there's no such thing as float. There is no such thing as int. There's no such thing as boolean. It's all, you have it right here as you just put it right there. So for example, let's I can set let's say message. I can actually make a simple variable called message. All right, and I have it saying, we have a string and it says hello world. And all right, so I have my string here. Go ahead and close out with my semicolon. So now I declare my variable, my message variable, and now I can just tell it to do the document.write and tell it to just to use the message and just to say throughout the message into the screen. So and so I'll say this exact same way. It's just here you're using the variable, and I think that's what a lot of you guys are used to when you're coming from over from Java. Is you're making you're actually making that variable and then using the variable to actually to define what you want it to, or you use the variable to do what you want it to do. And you can actually do it either way in JavaScript. You can even do it all in one. Did I do all in one? Yeah. So you can actually do it all in one. So for example, I can tell it to do my variable, and I can tell it to my variable. Right. So if I wanted to make it do all at one, I can tell it to have my message equal to document.write, and here in my document.write, I can just tell it to do hello world. And this is the exact same way. It doesn't matter which one you do. You can just clear it all at once, or you can come back and do it. So if I wanted to do a document.write, and I want to put something like I want to say and because I have it already declared as a variable, hello world declared as a variable, I can actually put, instead of actually typing out hello world, I can actually just put the variable message. And I have to actually put the plus sign because you're basically concatenating your text, your variable with your text. So you have to put the plus sign in there to let the JavaScript know that you are embedding, or you're actually adding that variable in there. So yeah, so now when I say, so now I should get a message that pops up. I want to say hello world when I open it back up in my browser. So let me check. Ooh, undefined. What do I do now? I moved it around. Ooh, cause it terrible. Ooh, fine. I'll just take you out. Fine. There you go. Now you should work. Since didn't like my document.write. There you go. So I have to declare the string at the straight string, and then I just tell it to call the variable out when I do my document.write. Okay. So, and if you wanted to, I can do so the same way. I think your book, and I'm actually going through. I think it talks a little bit about some of the math that JavaScript can do. So let's go ahead and do some math. And in your book, I think it also talked about doing alerts. And an alert box is just a box that pops up. You know, the nice little annoying box that pops up, like, are you sure you want to delete this file? Are you sure? That's basically what an alert box is. So let's make two variables. I might actually go ahead and comment those out. do a variable called books and make that, I don't know, $500. That'll close it out. So here I'm actually doing I'm still doing numbers. And you notice I don't have to put ink in there. I'm just doing the courses. I do courses. I think that's how much they are here, right? 450, something like that. Alright. So I can tell it to do another variable that actually adds the two up. So do total. Total equals books plus courses. Close it out. And I can do a document.write. Yay. And tell it to just print out. Actually, I can do, say, the semester total is now I put my space in there, so it puts a space in between my variable, the content for my variable, and the actual my text from the document.write. And I'm gonna do my plus sign, and I'm gonna tell it to do total. Let me do my semicolon. All right. So now, actually, I want to do an alert. So an alert is the exact same way. Oops. It's the exact same way as a document.write. Instead of actually putting in document.write, we have the word alert. But it's the exact same thing. So let me go ahead and do save. I keep calling it. There you go. So here it popped up. It says the total for the semester is 940. All right. It just do it again. There you go. It just pops up, and then all this is a simple box. I'm trying to, and I'm looking through the book and see if there's anything. Oh yeah, events. Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that you can do or add events to JavaScript, and so you can actually allow JavaScript to actually trigger to actually do some add or to have it perform something on the web page. So one of the most popular ones is you can do on click. Another one is to do mouse over. So you probably have seen gone to a website and you can put your cursor over the menu at the top, and as you're putting your cursor over it, like changes colors or it changes to something completely different. They're using the mouse over effect to actually or event to actually trigger that that code or that menu to do that when you put your mouse cursor over it. So let's do something real quick. I'll go ahead and close this out. There you go. So I'm going to do something. I'll do something similar to your second part of your homework, and that's the parts that I think some of you guys have problems with is how it has you to make one. Has you basically ask the question: Do you want to see some pictures? And you have to give the option yes or you can give the option no. And usually, if you do it through, you can do that through either doing, as long as something's clickable. So you can do it either through a button, input button, or you can use like a hyperlink to do it. And I'll do it both ways for you. But you can ask a couple of other ways you can do it too. You could, if you were going over functions, you can do that as a function too. But I'm going to go ahead and do it as I'll go ahead and do it as both a hyperlink and a input button. All right, so I have to find out what I want to put in it. So, all right. So I'm just going to have H1 tag. That's right. Because I'm doing, if I wanted to, I can just do a document dot write. And I can tell it to you want to see some pictures. All right, so I have that in there. All right, and I can actually make that an H1 tag. So H1. Yeah, to close that out and add my one over here on the side. Okay, so I can do it that way. And notice I'm doing the JavaScript stuff. I'm doing my HTML stuff, and I'm not even in the body of the JavaScript or the HTML tag or body of the HTML file. Okay, so do you want some pictures? Now I can. I should be able to do this. Document dot write. See if it let me do this. I'm gonna try to put all of it in JavaScript. Oh, that's saying here. No, I didn't. All right, I was trying to remember if I did or not. But when in JavaScript, when you have um, quotation or semicolon or quotation marks that's inside of quotation marks, the outer quotation marks have to be double, and the quotation marks inside have to be single. So now I have to. So now I'm doing. So right here after my type, it has to be single. So do button to value equals value equals yes. All right, now here gets the tricky part. I may have to separate this out. I may have to put the input tag down here at the bottom. We'll see if it works. Input tag. You know what? I don't know what. I don't want to try. I don't even try it. All right. So I'm going to come down here and be cool, and I'm going to put my input tag, but HTML tag inside of my body tag, like I'm supposed to. So type button value equals say yes. All right. Now I can do my own click, and here inside of my own click, I can actually type in my my whatever JavaScript I want to put in it. So when I click the button, I want them to open up a window, open up a brand new window. So I can say open up. Oh, open, and you probably saw this too. So when I do open dot window dot open, it's gonna open up a brand new tab. So it's the same thing as to when they pop up. All right. So and here I want to put in. Let's put in Central Carolina website. All right. So now when I click on it, it should open up. When I say yes, it should open up Central Carolina's website. Now I'm going to do my button. I'll call this from no. Type button. Put the value for no. And I'm going to have them, so, and when they click on it, I can have them say, I can probably do an alert and say, sorry, too bad. I don't know. Alright, so now I have that set up. So now when I open this up, I have, it's gonna give me this JavaScript. It's gonna write out, do you want to see some pictures? It's gonna have two buttons on it at the bottom. It's gonna be either yes or no. When I click on yes, it's gonna go to Central Carolina's website. When I do no, it's gonna open up an alert that says sorry, too bad. So that's how it's supposed to work. We'll see if it works in a minute. Right, there you go. Ooh, you want to see some pictures? So when I see click on yes, they're going to take me to Central Carolina's website. If I say no, it gives me a little pop-up that says sorry, too bad. All right. So that's one way you can do it. Usually with buttons, you have to declare a function. And when we deal with buttons, probably maybe for the rest of the semester, we will actually declare functions, and then use the functions and apply the functions to the buttons. But just want to show you that you can do the on-click stuff without using functions. You can do use on-click. You can do this with all of the events that they have in your book on page 42 in table 1-3. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you can do. You definitely highly recommend checking them out. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm missing in here. In the back of your chapter, it does talk about validating your code. And yes, just like you have to do for HTML, you have to validate your code. Let me see if I have that link in here. If not, I can put it up there. This should be under the resources. And it's not on there. Alright, I will put that on there. Yeah, I will put the link on there so you can actually go to the validator and validate your HTML. So, because I make sure you validate it before I get to, because when I validate it and I come up with an error or something, it says something wrong or it's not validated, I will take a point for it. So make sure you guys have that in there, all right, before you submit it. All right, so make sure extended the date for to turn in homework 1. You have to turn it in by Friday, October the 27th. Also, you have, there you go. Yeah, you also make sure you keep your quiz. For that's part of your attendance as well. Chapter 2 homework. After I finish this, I'm gonna do the thing for chapter 2, where it's we're doing October 25th, which is I think it's tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, it's tomorrow, because I'm doing this on the 24th. Yeah, so it's tomorrow. I'm gonna do a video for that one as well. If you have any questions, let me know. Email me, or come by my office and we can sit down. If you have issue with some of the code, come by. We can take a look at it. But so you have your homework 2 and your chapter 2 quiz due by tomorrow, or October 25th. Okay. So that's it for chapter 1. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. We can work it through. And I'll see you guys in the chapter 2 video. See ya.